Snyder's Cut Justice League had to be one of the most anticipated pieces in the movie industry in the last couple of months, or even years. And considering what kind of improvement it had, the fans were not waiting for nothing. And we can also say the same, that it was epic. And right after that, fans were left wondering, will there be a second installment of the franchise? When will it happen? And if it happens, what can it be about? And today, we have just that, a first look into what we are calling Justice League 2. Enjoy!
Anti-life is found, DeSaad, and we will stop.
Before we move on, let's take a recap at what was happening with the movie before Zack Snyder came along, and what changes have been made. In short, the history of the movie and everything that surrounds it. Zack Snyder's Justice League is finally streaming on HBO Max across the globe, and fans have managed to get what they wanted to watch back in 2017, when the first Justice League movie was released. Even the critics joined in to say their point of view. And just like the fans, they found Zack's version a huge improvement from the Joss Whedon's cut, and some of them even compared it to Marvel's Avengers. At first, this sounds very easy, done and done. However, the history says otherwise. The first Justice League was slammed by the critics back in 2017 when it was released, and they dismissed the superhero fandom. And this was the case because Joss Whedon stepped on the project after Zack Snyder had to leave following a personal tragedy. So the project became strictly Whedon's. Fans knew right from the start that the movie was not Snyder's work, and one of the fans casually, jokingly dropped, "Release the Snyder Cut." And this was how the social media storm began, which later revealed that there was actually a Snyder Cut locked away on his laptop. After a lot of negotiations and deals made here and there, Warner Bros. Gave in. The studio spent a well worth $70 million to finish this movie. And now, because of that, the fans have a 4-hour-long Justice League by Zack Snyder on HBO Max. And it is even a win-win situation, as WB got all the free publicity without even spending a penny on it. With this out of the way, we can and will continue with Justice League 2 and what the hype is all about.
Arthur Curry.
If you remember, Justice League 2 was as good as official at one point in time. The sequel was supposed to happen in June 2019, but was quietly scrubbed away after the fans' attention to the first movie, and all effort was turned to re-releasing the first movie, but this time Snyder's version of the movie, his original version for the project. As it stands right now, it sounds like Justice League 2 is going away of the DC dodo, and that is due to Snyder's reveal of so much of the story. But more on that later. A sign with which director thinks it is never going to happen, because as early as this February, Snyder talked to the studio and said that the studio is not being on board with the idea of releasing a sequel, which, if we are asked, it is a really sad thing to hear. After everything that happened, and what an improvement Snyder's cut was. However, Snyder fans will know that it is never too late, and you can never say never when it comes to reviving projects. Zack Snyder's Justice League leaves the door wide open, which eventually teases a sequel, as well as further expanding on the league's roster. The likeliest option right now for a Justice League 2 or another movie, rather than a direct sequel, seems to be a reboot, somewhat in connection like James Gunn's approach to The Suicide Squad. With this in mind, after all, Ben Affleck is no longer Batman, although he will appear in the Flash movie, which is in the making, and Henry Cavill is supposed to appear in a Superman cameo. So that are already two major characters out of the picture, so it would not be the same, and the making of a direct sequel is highly unlikely. Justice League could conceivably go ahead and film another movie without them, although they are core members of the team, so it would not be the same. Otherwise, DC would be looking at replacing their leads with Momoa, Gadot, and the rest being retained. A very confusing proposition to say the least. Whatever it may be in the future, a new Justice League sequel looks a long way off, so we will have to wait for anything certain in the future. Be on the lookout, because with DC, some things are not way off from happening. With Warner Bros.' recent box office successes, they finally shed their skin of a studio, which is not able to make a superhero movie, which ultimately means that we can never rule out another attempt at a team-up movie sometime in the future.
I think I will.
What follows from this point onward contains spoilers of how the first movie ended. So if you haven't watched it yet, what are you even waiting for? Go for it. And if you don't want to watch it, just look away so we don't spoil anything for you. With this out of the way, let's continue forward. As in the original Justice League, the big climax is that our heroes are taking on Steppenwolf to stop him uniting the three mother boxes. As for the second movie, a minor blip happens where the Flash resets the time a bit. With that, the team succeeds and kills Steppenwolf with Wonder Woman beheading him as he's being pushed back through the portal to Apocalypse. However, in the sequel, Darkseid would play a bigger part in the movie and vows to come to Earth to defeat the heroes and get his hands on the anti-life equation, a transcendental mathematical formula originally said to allow those who knew it to dominate the will of any sentient race, which, as we know in the comics, is the ultimate goal of Darkseid. After all this, we then see a lot more of Nightmare, a lengthy conflict that occurred in the future in which Batman's insurgency fought to overthrow Superman's regime after the death of Lois Lane by the hands of Darkseid, which leaves Superman susceptible to the anti-life equation, allying himself with the forces of Apocalypse and becoming the tyrannical ruler of Earth. Yes, at first glance, it screams Marvel and Thanos and everything. But this was actually Zack Snyder's plan, a very similar one where the heroes are defeated, but only to be brought back for one epic battle with the help of time travel. Here are Snyder's words for the sequels. It's the fall of Earth, and Superman sends the Flash back in time to change one element. So this doesn't happen. And then a big battle against Darkseid where they beat him, with all of the armies of Earth uniting yet again, just like they did before. However, this time, aircraft carriers and special forces guys from all over the world come together, as well as Atlanteans rising out of the ocean, and the Themyscirians coming off their islands, a way to present the big finale. At first sight, it is an ambitious plan from Snyder's side, but there is no unreal reason it cannot become a reality. On a related note, tell us down in the comment section below, what would you like to see with the DC Universe in the future? And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.